for business, technology, and innovation news. Subscribe and join us.
Hello. Hello, viewers, wherever you're joining us from Nigeria to Europe to America to wherever you're joining us from all parts of the world, we'll say a very big welcome to you. Welcome to Digivation Plain Talk, brought to you by Digivation Global Network. And we're going to be having this conversation from the commercial capital of Nigeria, Lagos, and we do hope to have a very robust conversation talking about how the internet has impacted and is still impacting businesses, still transforming society, still helping people to connect with friends, family, and of course make money also. So we're hoping to have a very robust conversation, and thanks also to all of you joining us online. I can see you join us via Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. And we also say a big shout out to our live speakers, or rather our virtual speakers. I'll be coming up later on to also share their perspectives on this conversation, how the internet has transformed and is still transforming businesses. We're going to go on a short commercial break right now. When we come back, I'm going to introduce my guest and we delve straight into the conversation. Don't go away.
As the world marks World Wide Web Day, Africa's first and leading cybersecurity and digital life platform and promoters invite all stakeholders to a summit meant to celebrate the internet and its impact. The conference is a gathering of partners, stakeholders, to discuss the opportunities of internet digital technologies for business and enterprise, plus security. The 2021 World Wide Web Day explores the strategies for safety on the web for individuals, businesses, infrastructure companies, innovators, and policies. August 9th is the day, hosting both virtual and in-person, with COVID-19 protocols well in place. To participate or register at www.digivationnetwork.com. The World Wide Web Day, promoted by the Center for Cybersecurity Awareness and Development in collaboration with Cyber Africa Magazine and Digivation Network. Join us as the world marks the World Wide Web Day.
My name is Gideon Tugilaba. I'm here to talk to you about the internet. The internet, or the World Wide Web, has redefined the world from security to commerce, financial services, governance, and entrepreneurship. The internet is now a major drive. This is why the Center for Cyber Awareness and Development, CECAD, and Cyber Africa Magazine and partners brings you the World Internet Day, a day to celebrate the world invention, its impact and role in world governance. Join us at the prestigious Radisson Blu Ikeja. Date for participation, log on to www.cecad.org.ng and www.digivationnetwork.com. Better still call World Wide Web Day, a celebration of the evolution of internet. Join us.
Before we do that, I think we'd like to acknowledge some of our viewers who are already joining from various parts of the world. We have Bumi from London and a few others also. We acknowledge you, we appreciate. All right, we have Shola Bikestek joining us. We also have Anslem, we appreciate you for joining us. All right, we also have Akin Ogulande, thank you very much, and so many others. Thank you very much for joining us. If you're still you can of course still join us via YouTube and via Facebook, and you can be part of the conversation. All right, we're going to go straight to the very first guest I have in the studio here. No other person than Mr. Rock Adote, who is a cyber security expert and consultant. He has been advising government and businesses on how to ensure that the internet is a safe place. The internet is a viable platform where both corporate and the private sector can interact, and of course he'll be coming here to really give us all the perspectives we need to have on how we can be safe online, both as adults and of course our children also. Nice to have you, Mr. Rock, in the studio today.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
Thank you.
All right. So we also have another guest, also Sam Adeyemi, who is a business consultant. He has worked with various multinational organizations, both within and outside Nigeria, and he will be coming, or rather telling us about how the internet has impacted businesses, how the internet has transformed the business landscape, how, and also the opportunities and of course the threats that abound in the internet. No other person than Mr. Sam Adeyemi. Nice to have you in the studio today.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Nice to be here.
All right. Okay, so the impact of the internet in Nigeria's social and economic landscape. Rock, how do you see the internet? How has the internet impacted businesses, impacted our social space and stuff like that?
Well, thank you for the opportunity. The internet, without doubt, has monumentally impacted Nigerian socio-economic development. First, if there's anything COVID-19 has shown us is that most Nigerian businesses have been forced to rely on the internet as an enabler for their vital business operations, including government. I said last year, there was a mandate from the Federal Executive Council for all parastatals to automate their database. You understand? All MDGs to automate their database. And this because of the reality the pandemic brought, you understand? So government can still be in business. That alone, internet is going to be the major driveway, the major enabler for, you understand? So we have also seen a lot of Nigerian businesses, even banks, financial institutions, resorting to remote operations. Now their staffs, their employees are on shifts, you understand, just to ensure that business survive, just to ensure that business continuity management sticks in, you understand. So these are the realities. These are how internet is enabling our social economic development, and it's not going to change. We've also seen through technology, as at last year, we saw over 90 startups, tech startups from Nigeria. We saw foreign direct investment hitting Nigeria exceeding over $200 million. 2020, I think that amount doubled up. It's more than $400 million. We saw what happened to Paystack. That alone is a $200 million deal. Yeah. So these are indicators that shows you internet penetration in Nigeria is really affecting the socio-economic development, you understand. There might be challenges, no doubt, but the truth is I think we're in the right directions, and what we can do is to encourage more investment in this light. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rock, for that insight. I'm going to turn to Mr. Sam right now. He's going to tell us about specifically how businesses have harnessed the internet to thrive. He just talked about how government began to automate their operations, moving online. But looking at the private sector, not government, looking at individuals, entrepreneurs who are trying to start up their business, how have they fared utilizing the internet? Can you give us an overview?
Yes, the private sector also have not been left behind because, again, just like Rock mentioned, COVID had changed the mindset. So before COVID, a lot of times businesses feel that there's a lot of face time that you need to do. You need to be interacting physically. You have to go to school, normal school. So you have to sit in a brick and mortar classroom, have a teacher in front of you. But the COVID has changed all that now, so we have digital learning. And what that has done also is that using technology, a new skill set, a new army of people are going into the educational sector. So you now have a lot of IT playing a lot of role in education. You have a lot of content development. You have a lot of deliveries to be able to ensure that rather than having students read off the book, they can actually have e-books. They can actually have e-libraries. They have, and that means that each school. So before now, you have softwares that can give you access to over 1 million books. Now, it means that even schools that are just start up can have access to 1 million books library overnight. That's the power of the internet.
Also, I'm aware that you're also an expert when it comes to trading online, doing business, and particularly Forex. we've been having this back and forth with the regulators and, of course, the private sector regarding even the whole concept of cryptocurrency and doing. Can you just throw some light on that? The internet is changing the game, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
The internet is changing the way we work, the way we play, and the way we learn. And so it affects every segment of our lives, even the way we do business. So, and the way we will see currency.
The whole concept of
currency will change the entire concept of banking. So in another few years, the kind of banks you will have are not the traditional banks you have now.
Not the brick and mortar.
Not the brick and mortar. The kind of currency also that will be accepted across borders will also be different. So crypto is just taking off.
So, okay, sorry for cutting you, but this is the future you're talking about. This is the future of banking. But why does it seem like perhaps regulators seem to be slowing down the future, or they're not moving at par with the future? I don't understand. So,
okay, so everything a regulator.
Okay, Rock was laughing, so perhaps
in response to your question, I don't think it's the regulators are trying to intentionally curb the future or the integration of internet in financial transactions. I just think certain realities are just beginning to set in, like the Twitter case, for instance. But that's not even on the social media side. A very clear reality in the financial space now is that you see the payment service providers, the likes of internet payment service providers, the likes of Flutterwave, the likes of Paystack, you understand? They're taking away the margins of the banks. The bank started this thing. GT had GT Pay, Diamond has Diamond Pay for over a decade ago. But they stiffen their processes with a lot of regulations and all these things. Paystack is exposing APIs to Nigerian developers, locally and abroad. Yeah. People are using it for their e-commerce store. Integration is seamless. Now, Stack, and what are they doing? Even church are paying through Paystack. Schools are paying through Paystack. Now, you now see an issue of this is not a bank. They just have a PSB license, for instance, you understand? But if you look at the books, the transactions that passes through their APIs, these are hundreds of millions of dollars, if you even put them in dollars, you understand? And that's why a foreign investor can confidently come and say, I'll put $200 million in this and buy you off. You understand? So that is changing. And like to complement what he said, the future of banking is very, very flat. So very soon, with the rate of technology and internet penetration, we have mobile money, we have USSD transactions. Even when we go into cybersecurity now, the banks are also, CBN is doing a very good job in that way in order to secure space. People's.
You say CBN is doing a very good job. I mean, a lot of average Nigerians may not want to think so. They may think like, banning cryptocurrency, for example. Perhaps you may want to throw light to our viewers on that, but I think the average Nigerian may not necessarily think CBN is doing a great job. I don't.
No, you see, if it's banning cryptocurrency, that's a total different ballgame because currently speaking, the only means cyber criminals use to collect their illegal proceeds is through cryptocurrency. Currently, you understand, which they cannot be easily traced. But now, even regulations and global collaboration from intelligence agencies is actually stiffening that gap already, you understand. We've had so many cases, even in recent past, where cryptocurrency exchange platforms have been breached, you understand. And the cyber criminals could not even move the money away from them because they could be tracked. We have so many cases in the US like that. We have so many cases even in Nigeria. So what the CBN can do and what they are doing is to put in policies and regulations, you understand, to safe tax people's money.
Perhaps maybe to move out or restrict the bad guys from.
So
when there is perhaps a framework of where you can allow the
watertight framework. Yes. So that's on cryptocurrency. On financial transactions, why I said they are doing a good job, and I give you a practical case in point. One of the worst days for you to be a victim of cybercrime is during weekends.
The banks are not working.
You've just be singing debit alert. Who will you cry to? You call customer care, they'll be singing that song they used to sing. After 16 minutes, your account is exhausted. what will you do? But now, what did I see? What has CBN done to address this? They've issued banks directives for USSD. If you see such things, press star so star and block your account number from the phone number that is registered with that account number. And with that way, you don't need to call customer care to be delaying. If you see any illicit transaction, block all the channels, block the ADCs, the alternate delivery channels, block the USSD, block the mobile app, block everything, block your card. You understand? Because these days, it's as easy as people, your house help or your relative, to snap the front and back of your ATM card. It's debit alert. If you go to, it's now, and why also I said they're even doing a good job, not just CBN, but other regulatory agencies in this light. Do you know we have a very watertight cybersecurity when it comes to financial transaction than even in most other countries? For instance, if you put your ATM card on Google, they will not ask you for two-factor authentication. Just put that CCV number at the back. It's debit alert. But try that on a Nigerian e-commerce site. They will send you an OTP to your phone to verify. That is second factor authentication. So these are steps. It's the truth. The only problem is that when bad things happen, is quickly announced. But we should also give accolades to the institutions that handle these things. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, I would like to also acknowledge one of our guests just joining us virtually, Mr. David Afolayan, who is the co-founder and CEO of technext.ng. We thank you for joining us. I'm going to be calling on you later on as the conversation proceeds to share your insight also on the conversation, how the internet has affected both the public, the private sector, our socio-economic lifestyle. All right, let me also turn to Sam right now, continue from where Rock stopped, businesses specifically. Looking at regulation of businesses in Nigeria, would you say the government, looking at the internet is a facilitator of business, we know, but has the government been more of a plus to that, or there have been a factor that has slowed down business? I don't know.
Okay, so well, if you say government really is not slowing it down, because the wide web is a global thing, and all that businesses need to do is to ensure that they have their footprint. As a matter of fact, these days, your digital footprint on the internet is more important than your physical office. So you find that more and more businesses are thriving off the internet. So you have multiple cottage industries that are making a lot of businesses and employing people, and all they have is just so e-commerce sites. It could be your garage. You package your things, you do a proper snapshot of it, you upload it to your website, and before you know it, buyers are ready.
To have a website, I mean, you can just have a Facebook page or an Instagram page and snap
Exactly.
and upload.
So whether it's even, you can even just have a WhatsApp platform where you just snap it and just you have a group where you just expose this to. So the internet has made life a lot more convenient. And for small businesses, it has also taken away a lot of overheads. Like I mentioned, one of the major costs is having to set up a physical office.
And of course, the tax that comes with it, your business, local, federal, state.
Yes. So the internet has really done a lot to ensure that businesses, not only in Nigeria, but globally, really thrive.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. And I think I would like to turn to David right now. David, are you ready for us? Are you ready for us?
Hear me?
Okay, you're ready. All right. David is the co-founder and CEO of technext.ng, which is a tech news platform, I think. So he's going to share his own insight on this conversation. The internet and socio-economic development. How do you see the internet shaping social and economic life, perhaps in the next 5 to 10 years? Can you, as a futurist, can you project how you see the internet transforming businesses in the next 5 or 10 years?
So, at this point, let me still talk about the potentials for the business space, leveraging internet and other facility that this generation has. We are still, it's quite surprising that we are still speaking about it as if it's a tendency for the future. The truth is, this is where we are, and we are already in the world of technology. Like the other speakers have already said, the reality today is that people don't need physical infrastructures to transact, to run businesses. When the pandemic happened in 2020, quite a number of people felt that things were going to collapse. We were at home for over 8 weeks, and businesses functioned normally. And up to the later part of last year and early this year, so many people were not going to the office spaces, and things that they needed to do were still done. The fact is, the infrastructure that people leverage to be able to function from their remote locations were not built when the pandemic happened. These things had existed before the pandemic. And as we speak today, the structures that we need to transit into the realities of tomorrow are already in existence. We might not be leveraging it in this part of the world because of our own limitations, but tomorrow, every business will be a technology business first. Then whatever services you're offering will be secondary. Because as you offer your services, you get people's data, they use platforms that can allow you access them in a different location. So you cut off costs like logistics and human elements, and you'll be able to get vital information about people. And those information, you would also be able to use it for some other business transaction. So let's take, for instance, the regular thing, the gym, right? Before now, people go to the gym every day, maybe Saturday or Sunday, do some exercises for a couple of hours. But the pandemic struck, so people realized to talk to their gym instructions across different channels. People were doing gym, we were gymming via Zoom, via Google Meet. People were using wearables that could measure some of their numbers, their vitals, and they were communicating the numbers with their gym instructors and with their doctors to get good advices. In the future, don't be surprised that gym companies in Nigeria will have apps that will be able to pull all of these functions together. You can be able to talk to your gym instructor or your app. The app will be able to get your vitals from your wristwatch or from your Apple phone. When do you sleep? When do you wake up? What kind of food do you eat every day? And the gym company itself will have your data. In the future, that gym company could be a technology company that can aggregate data of thousands of gym users across the world. Now and in the closest future. And what I'm talking about is not something that we'll be talking about in 5 years. By next year, the difference between the businesses that will survive that they are able to enjoy technology. So that is the reality of today.
Okay, you said the degree to which a business can survive is the degree to which they can employ technology. But perhaps I would like you to talk or share your insight about regulation. What is the role of regulators in this? Because it seems like without regulators, businesses can thrive. In fact, it seems like the regulators tend to slow down operations. Is that the case? Or what should be the role of regulators or the government in ensuring that a society like Nigeria that is still in need of development utilizes the internet to its fullest, would I say, capacity or something? So what's the role of regulators?
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, my take on conversations around regulation every time has always been from the point of understanding. So first, what is the objective of the regulator? The objective of the regulator is to protect its own stakeholder. So let's say, for instance, the objective of the CBN would be to protect the interest of the Nigerian government, protect the interest of Nigerians, and protect the interest of the constituents of that body, not just to the banks and whatever. So in the Nigerian space, who are the regulators, the government and its agencies? Their interest is to protect the interest of their stakeholders. It is always the case from the beginning of the world up to now that regulation would always chase innovation. If innovators work by regulations, they will not be able to innovate. So it is standard that when innovations come, regulation will always have to change. The only difference between very developed economies and our space, where regulations seem to be stifling innovation, is the understanding of the regulators. And I think one of the biggest challenges we've had is that in our space, rather than regulators to seek to understand the innovation, the first approach is always to hammer the innovators. I mean, that is how we deal with things, even in our traditional way. People who are in power will always want to put a hold to progress so that they can understand the progress, then they will now be able to control the progress. But the ideal thing should be understanding the progress without halting the progress, then you can now work with the progress. So how does other developed economies, how do they function? They have a one-on-one conversation, oftentimes with the innovators. So you see the CEO of Facebook, YouTube, other platforms, Tesla, with Bitcoins, having conversations with the Senate in hearings, going to SEC, and other platforms that would regulate them. I see that lacking in our space because oftentimes our regulators don't have regular conversations with the people that are playing in the space they want to regulate. So let's take, for instance, the Bitcoin space. When the regulators wanted to regulate Bitcoins, they issued a couple of statements that kind of scared away investors and stifled the process. I would expect that they ought to be having meetings with those who are playing with the space, employing younger minds to their own agency who will be experts in this field and will be able to make policies that are going in line with that space, such that by the time they bring out the policy document, it will reflect the interest of the people who are investing in Bitcoin and the people who are running Bitcoin platforms. So the same goes for the internet. The government has an issue with platforms, social media platforms. The ideal thing would be have a conversation with the people who own the platform, have a conversation with people who use the platform, then come up with a regulation to say, okay, for Twitter, we realize there are false news, false information designed to cause crisis in the environment. What can we do? Have a conversation with the people who own the platform, have a conversation with the people who use the platform, so major influencers, and say, how do we regulate this thing? Then you come up with a document that reflects. So that way, you've been able to catch up, you've been able to bridge the space because you are what you are. I mean, some of us are younger, some of us are older, but you need the understanding of the younger people to be able to run the space. So the regulators, are they needed? Yes. Do we need regulation? The answer is yes. But our challenge has always been, how do we regulate? And the ideal way to regulate is to seek to understand the space by working with those who play in the space. And you can come up with regulations that are indeed useful to the space, not regulations that will alter the progress of the space.
Afolayan, the co-founder and CEO of TechNext.ng. But there were two things I picked out from while you were speaking. Regulation will always chase innovation. Regulation will always chase innovation. So in other words, regulators should not attempt to regulate first before having a conversation or a dialogue with innovators. There should be that back and forth. There should be that cross-fertilization of ideas so that the ecosystem can develop further. All right. In case you're just joining us, this is Digivation Network Plain Talk, and we're looking at the impact of the internet on Nigeria's social and economic landscape, specifically how the internet has impacted or transformed businesses, communities, families, and stuff like that. So we're going to be going on a very short commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have another guest to come share more insights with us. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, welcome you to this new ride.
Right, okay. Still have 3 guests, okay.
Tech impact and new business frontiers. This is Digivation Network. On a weekly basis, we keep you well informed of developments and trends. Now the tech ecosystem is impacting politics, business, public and private enterprise management, plus how the new digital life can transform your business. I am Bayero Agabi. Join us.
I'm Mojisola Alabi. I urge you to join us at the World Wide Web Day 2021 celebration. The World Wide Web has redefined the world from security to e-commerce, financial services, governance, and of course, entrepreneurship. This is why the Center for Cyber Awareness and Development, CECAD, and Cyber Africa Magazine and other partners brings you the World Wide Web Day celebration, a day to celebrate the web invention, its impact, and the role in the world of government. Join us at the prestigious Radisson Blue Hotel, GRA Ikeja. Date 9th August 2021. For participation, log on to www.secad.org.ng and www.digivationnetwork.com. Better still, call. Let's hook up at the event. You will be proud. You did. Join us.
This is Digivation Network.
Hello, I am Adaze Okeahine, Digivision Radar.
I am Gideon Tobiloba, Sports Tech and the Top Fives.
And I am Princely Momodu. For news and views in the entertainment world,
Every week we serve you with news, views, and information as they relate to
Join us.
This is Digivation Network.
All right, welcome back to Plain Talk by Digivation Network, live from Nigeria's commercial capital, Lagos, Nigeria. And we're still looking at the topic, the impact of the internet in Nigeria's social and economic landscape. We've been having various guests giving their insight. We've had shortly a while ago, Sunday Afulayan from technext.ng, David Afulayan giving us his insight. We also had Rock Adote sharing us his perspectives in terms of cybersecurity, and Sam Adeyemi, a business development consultant, giving us his perspective also. I'd like to acknowledge our partners before we proceed. I'd like to acknowledge the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC. I'd like to acknowledge the National Information Technology Development Agency, NIDA. I'd like to acknowledge the Digital Bridge Institute. I'd like to acknowledge the National Identity Management Commission. I'd like to also acknowledge Galaxy Backbone, Medallion, and many others, too numerous to mention. We appreciate your partnership and support in ensuring that we continue to have a robust conversation between both the private and the public sector on how we can make better use of the internet. Thank you. All right, I'm going to turn to Rock Adote right now, and he's going to tell us about personal banking and safety. Sam has told us that the banking, or rather will not be done on the internet. It's now a sort of like it's now digital banking, no longer the mainstream, moving to the halls and the physical bank space. But safety online is also very critical as we transact, as we use our ATM cards, or as we put our details online. As more people go digital, how do we ensure safety? What are those things that perhaps regulators need to know, and perhaps individuals? What are those aspects of responsibility we need to take into cognizance also?
Yeah, thank you for that opportunity. So from regulations emphasized, we need to invest more in cybersecurity awareness. We need to invest more in digital literacy. We can see a lot of efforts by the government in this light. This is the entire essence of the Center for Cybersecurity Awareness and Development, CECAD, you understand? And what we need to see more is the government and the institutions, people like NIDA, partnering more with in CECAD in these things, and also churning out a lot of initiatives into cybersecurity awareness. As at our penetration, mobile subscription and penetration, we looked at, I think, over 80% of the populace have a mobile phone. People use this as a benchmark for digital literacy, but that's false. That's not true. You just have people that have a mobile phone, a mobile device, and that's just one channel when it comes to internet, when it comes to technology. Not even, you might be surprised, not even half of that figure have fast internet or is exposed to fast internet. These are challenges, you understand. Now you look at the Nigerian broadband plan of 2020 to 2025, you understand. The government needs to do more to fasten the implementations in this policy document, you understand. You look at the digital economic policy and strategy plan, you understand. Also, the government needs to proliferate, fasten their implementation of all the tenets stipulated in this document, you understand. This will go a long way. You also look at the Global Innovation Index. Despite the influx of FDI, despite the mobile teledensity and adoption, we are still, we are number 114 in the Global Innovation Index. We are not still doing so much in that regard.
Meaning we're not perhaps an exporter of innovation yet.
Yes, we are not there yet, you understand. So what the government needs to do is to put in institutions, programs, you understand, create more hubs, encourage hubs, innovation growth hubs, you understand. We have CC Hub doing fantastically well. We have IG Hub, Daniel Chinagozi in the East. He has trained over 5,000 youths, you understand. But the problem is that when you train these youths, when you train them in skill sets that make them relevant, you understand, both in cybersecurity and enterprise IT in development, they go to Canada. They leave rural urban migration because everybody's looking for greener pastures. So you now have the human capital deficit. This is actually affecting Nigerian technological space now, you understand, not just cybersecurity. But back into cybersecurity, these are some of the initiatives the government can embark upon. Then when it comes to the financial institutions, to the corporate Nigeria, when it comes to cybersecurity and technology, the people in the forefront of this are the banks, the financial institutions. How well can can you hear me? How well can Nigerians feel safe when they use internet to conduct their daily transactions? I have still been a preacher of the fact that cybersecurity awareness should be localized to different languages. It should be localized in Yoruba. You see a lot of Nigerians. Nigeria is a very plural society. Yeah. You can't be telling people to press *555 to block their account in English. People don't know how to use that thing. So people are not even using an internet-enabled device. You understand? And we have feature phones. You understand? So people are using Chinese phones that don't have internet connection. Localize this in a language they will understand. And this will go a long way to reduce the rate of cybercrime because people will be more aware of the risk they are exposed to when they resort to these channels for their financial transactions. You understand? Make people aware that you don't expose your ATM cards. Make people aware that your birthday is a significant security information. You understand? If you go online, you go to online services, most even Netflix. Once you've forgotten your password, they say, you know that what's your mother's maiden name? What's your last car? If you can't get anything, they ask you, okay, verify your birthday. Those are you. If I don't know your birthday and I'm a cyber criminal, I'll just go to Facebook and look for where they wish you happy birthday. Even though you block it, except you're not a human being or you don't have friends. If it's not on Facebook, it's on Instagram. If it's not on Instagram, it will be on LinkedIn. Don't put so much information about yourself on social media. You understand? So these tips, Confidence Staffley is also doing a lot of good job. That is No Go For Maga, a very good friend of mine too. You understand? These people need to be encouraged. Government needs to create out maybe like an SPV or projects. Invest in them, even financially. You understand? Especially the hub and those accelerators. So these are other steps and ways we can be able to instill that safe culture in Nigeria.
Because as the ecosystem develops, as we begin to adopt more and more of these technologies and solutions, it's important. And I like the fact that you talked about local languages.
Localization, yes.
Localize it. Because the Chinese man would not want to pass a message on that Chinese man and use English. He won't do that. You know, the German man would not want to talk to a German and use English. He would use the German language. So we need to encourage that Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa usage.
100%. It's 100%. In Borno State, in Kano State, put your advert in their language. Tell them what to do to feel safe online. Don't think another thing is don't underestimate the young generation. We're in the computer age. My 2-year-old boy is already pressing computer and typing this thing. He's going to Google Play Store to look for games, and he likes it. I don't want to delve into child protection and all those, but that's a total different
talk about
baggage.
that. There's time. We can talk about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, we're going to turn to Sam right now, and we're still looking at business development and business usage of the internet. But perhaps you may want to talk about social media first. It's something that has been ongoing and is still ongoing. The recent one was the Twitter ban, and I think the government is still having conversations and consultations with Twitter here and there. But where is the line, or how am I going to define this right now? People want to communicate online and share information. Businesses want to communicate and thrive online. But there is also the conversation about national security. We want to ensure that there is peace in Nigeria. You don't hit up the polity. How can we balance it up? We want to be safe as a people, and then we want to be free to communicate and express our ideas. How can we balance it?
Yeah, thank you. Really, the Twitter ban, just like David's mentioned, that innovation will always be ahead of regulators. So one of the key things that is very important with regulation is that regulators must always provide that platform to engage the target audience. In other words, because again, using a sledgehammer to kill an ant, you will kill the ants, but you also damage the furniture. So this Twitter handle, how many Nigerians are actually have built their business models around it, that it actually provides them their daily bread. Now, this ban does not take those people into consideration. And those businesses has been affected. So what the government, I think, should have done, though what their intention, yes, because again, you can't sell anything when the nation's on fire.
Yeah, sure.
So there really should be some sort of control, but stopping the vehicle and saying we want to put in control measures really is not the way to go about it.
I think I was hearing one of these government aides speaking, and they said the first step to regulation is actually to ban first. That you need to stop all forms of activity, then they can now set up a framework. I think that's what the government is doing. But like you said, there needs to be that conversation first before you sort of like slam the sledgehammer and stop all procedures.
Exactly. So we are in a global world now. So there will be the border lines about Nigeria, Ghana, and all that will fade out with time. So there must be
geographic borders.
Yes. So there must be that framework that each country will plug into that global framework to say, okay, this is how you play within my space. This is how you can act within my space. Because yes, we still have our cultural differences. So you go to the Middle East, as a man, to stretch your hand to greet a woman is wrong.
Culturally.
It's culturally wrong. So except the lady extends her hand to you, you are not supposed to shake her hands. In Nigeria, we accept it. So yes, there are cultural differences that we need to infuse into all these trans-border kind of technologies, but it's not by breaking the box. It's not by stifling people. Okay, so you want to regulate. You've killed your people. You've killed their businesses. So eventually you now say, yes, let business continue. So just by digression, I hear also that CBN is also contemplating of having their own cryptocurrency by October. Now, that's a good development. But it doesn't mean you stop the party that is going on because you want to create your own. So let everything, understand everything, and nurture things rather than break things. So that's the area that I think our government needs. They need to nurture more of this innovation than break them before they
perhaps,
regulate.
want to look at it this way. With every good thing or every good innovation can also be manipulated for wrong uses. For instance, a gun. A gun is not necessarily evil, but when it's in the hand of the criminal, it becomes, when it's in the hand of the law enforcement agents, it's good in that sense. So I think our regulators are perhaps listening. We're also expecting other guests to join us virtually if they're ready. Peter Oluka, the editor of techeconomy.ng, Olajide Adebola, the National Digital Health Consultant of the World Health Organization in Nigeria. We're expecting also Prince Oswago, who is the head of ICT of the Vanguard newspapers, to also join us. Okay, I think we have Olajide. Okay, Adebola, right? Okay, okay, Ajibola Abiola. Okay, okay. I think we perhaps might go to Ajibola Adebola, who is a national digital health consultant of the World Health Organization. Are you ready, Debola? Ajibola? Are you ready, Ajibola? Okay, okay. I think, what about Mr. Bickersteth? I think it's a German name or something. Shola Bickersteth. Are you ready? Okay, Ajibola is ready. All right, good afternoon, Ajibola. I can barely hear you though. Okay. Is he speaking? Okay. Okay. I think, what about Shola? Shola Bickersteth? Okay. So, good afternoon, Shola. Can you unmute? Can you unmute your microphone, please? Okay. What about Nwosu Peace? Are you ready for us? Nwosu Peace. Okay. All right, Nwosu.
Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you. Good
Yes,
afternoon.
I just joined, so I don't have something.
Okay, because perhaps as we go on, you might have a contribution to make. Okay, so Mr. Wonsu, it's Internet Day. We're celebrating the World Wide Web. We're talking about how the internet has transformed businesses or impacted society, and then we're looking at perhaps challenges, perhaps opportunities, the gray areas that we still need to work on as a people to ensure that we harness the potential and get the best out of the internet. So perhaps your perspective at this point will be much appreciated. So you can go ahead, Peace. You can go ahead and share your thoughts on usage of the internet and how it can facilitate development.
Good morning. Is it afternoon?
Okay, good afternoon. Okay, is that Shola speaking?
Yes, this is Shola Bickersteth.
Okay, nice to have you on the program today.
Thank you.
Okay, where are you joining us from, please? So I just put things in context.
Abuja.
All right, so how is the capital city this afternoon?
As cool as it can be.
All right, so the ball is in your court. Go ahead and give us your perspective on the topic, the internet and development here. In relation to, NIPOST, the postal services, and how it's been, I think it's undergoing some massive changes at the moment. So please, can you share with us? You can also put on your camera if possible.
Okay, you want to turn my camera?
It's, yeah, please.
Okay, let me just try and do that. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. So I just have a view that the discussion we're having should not be talking about impact. Impact impresses that the internet is just something we benefit from. What we should be talking about here is the fact that without the internet today, no economy can survive. It's as simple as that. And so we shouldn't be talking about how to manage the after effects or how it has affected our life. We should have a bill. There's something similar to that. Those are part of the attempts that have been done to try and modernize the postal network. But we should have a bill that recognizes access to the internet as a fundamental human right. And I'm not joking about it. Some countries have done that. And there's evidence that when they prioritize internet infrastructure, the economy changes. It's not a matter of it has an impact. Impact means that there's an improvement. We're not talking about that. We're talking about survival. The fact that you cannot survive today without internet access. There are so many things we started taking for granted. And we've already spoken about in the past 1 hour. We take it for granted, but we've never wondered, how did we live without these things just short 10, 15 years ago? Today, I can't remember the last time I walked into a bank branch. If there was no internet, it would have been physically impossible. And we are now in an age where people can download apps and borrow money. Those are direct effects of what internet is doing. So it's a survival issue, it's not an impact issue. And I would like us to spend some energy. What bill should we be encouraging the National Assembly of Nigeria to pass to fundamentally change the way we perceive the role of internet in our economy?
Perhaps, Shola, let me put the question directly to you. Looking at your own sector, the space you play, what do you think we should be passing as a law to facilitate more this survivability using the internet, in a sense?
Well, I'm a financial inclusion specialist, and I spend a lot of energy around professional agents network. Of course, a lot of activities that we do have to do with CBN, and we engage CBN on a daily basis on how to move these things to the next step. I'm not sure there's any specific thing that I can say at this time because the CBN is quite proactive. They said they will ban digital cryptocurrency some months ago. Now they've come back to say they're going to launch pilots in October. That's the CBN I'm used to. They respond to the realities of today, and they do it very fast. And as of today, Nigerians, especially I'm speaking specifically to the financial services sector now. There are financial services that are available in Nigeria. You cannot get them in America till today. That's fact. So in that regard, we are not doing too badly. It is the fundamental infrastructure that is missing. So for example, if I ask you, how many houses do we have in Nnewi? We have no idea. Talk less of how many is one-story building, how many is a bungalow, how many is painted white, how many streets are there. Those are basic. That's why it is information technology. So it is making all that information accessible in real time. That is the work that we all need to do. I think the CBN is doing well. I'm not sure there's anything we need to add to what they're doing from my own activity perspective, because those are things that are not necessarily technology. There are other things that affect the kind of work that I do. We just use technology to try and ameliorate it.
Okay, but you said you are more of an advocate of financial inclusion, ensuring that people everywhere have access to financial services, irrespective of their financial status or something. Would you want to perhaps advocate that the internet should become a fundamental human right, where we treat it just like freedom of information or right to life, right to internet? So we're talking about, okay, every child deserves an education. Can we say every human being is the responsibility of perhaps government to ensure that there is an enabling environment for every Nigerian to have the internet they need to plug into the global space?
Yes, that was what I said. We should pass laws as of today that makes internet access. There is no school in Nigeria, whether it is in the middle of the bush, that should exist without connectivity and at least 1 or 2 computers. We cannot say we cannot afford it. That's not an issue. It is because we don't know how important it is. So those are the kind of things that we need to, pay a little more attention to. Make it more fundamental. Let's take it beyond just impact. It's not impact. Any child that you're teaching today without basic computer knowledge, you're just wasting everybody's time. You're wasting the teacher's time, you're wasting the school's time, you're wasting the child's time, the parents' time. Because that child will not be as useful to the society as they can be when they finally become of age. So that's the importance of what we're talking about, fundamental access. What I was saying is that after fundamental access, in my own specific area of activity, if you go to a village and you give them internet access and you say, okay, everybody, there's access in this village now, it doesn't mean that the following day they're going to gain access to financial services. You now need professional or professionally competent agents who can now interpret that access for them, who can, go to their farms, take pictures, and go to where the internet is and upload it. So it's like what we have in Nigeria today. In every village, there's a pastor, there's an imam that interprets the word of God, the Quran, the Bible, for the local people to understand. We need something like that, but that's not necessarily, direct internet. After the internet has been provided, then there's all this, additional things that we now need to do to make it work. But at least let the foundation even be there. Then we can start building on top of it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Shola Bickersteth. No doubt the internet is vital to life, vital. As one of us put it here, it's a backbone of life today. So we appreciate you for this insight. Thank you very much. All right, I think we also have some other guests joining us. Okay, Adad Juma. All right, okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes,
okay, you're on mute. Can you unmute your microphone, sir? We can see you, but you need to unmute your microphone. Exactly, you've done it now. All right, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, how are you today?
Fine.
All right, so where are you joining us from so I can put things in context? Where are you joining us from?
From Abuja.
From Abuja. All right, nice to have you. Okay, so go ahead and tell us your perspective to the conversation today.
One of the most progressive conversations we have having of late. The use of the internet might appear to be in the citizens of the common people, but I think primarily massive deployment of internet is in the interest of the government and the nation in general. Our experiences in India and other developing countries has shown that the lack of efficient, effective deployment of internet is part of the major reason for our backwardness. So I think critical, is vital, and is timely. And thank you for a beautiful job.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adajoma, for that insight. And I like something he said. He said the reason we are not yet there in terms of development is a result, not because we are abusing the internet, but because we are not harnessing it enough. We're not utilizing it enough. So I think that's a good insight to share. And I think that's just it. We need to, when it comes to regulation of the internet, it should be just because we need to curb abuse and curb misuse of the internet, not specifically to curb usage in that sense. So thank you very much for that insight. We're going to be going on a very short commercial break. All right. Okay. I think Bumi is ready. All right. Bumi from London is ready. Bumi, good, I think, afternoon. Good afternoon, Bumi. Bumi, can you unmute your microphone? Hello, Bumi.
Hi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you.
All right. Can we see your face so we can have a feel of you a lot better?
Okay.
Okay. And how is London?
Very well, thank you. Very well.
All right, so let's see your face before you. Okay, all right, I can see your face right now.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go straight ahead. The internet, its impact in our social and economic life, and what's your perspective to it?
Okay, so my perspective is that it has actually made businesses serve customers better. So I used to work with the electricity sector, and working in the customer service, we have a lot of complaints as regards customers coming to complain about payment and all that. So you find dissatisfied customers generally. So, but with the innovation and then the regulators, which is NEC, saying that all the discos should automate their process, my company was actually the pioneering company in that regard. And then they were able to automate the processes. So from the comfort of your room, you can actually pay your bills. You can actually check your unit balance. You can actually load your prepaid meter, for example, and so many other stuffs like that. So yeah, the IT sector has really transcended and has made businesses even more better in servicing customers and then in also providing solution, because that is the basics of everything, providing solution to every challenge. So that's what I can say.
All right, thank you very much, Bumi from London. The internet is an enabler, helps us to provide solutions to problems. Thank you very much for that insight. And continue to enjoy the summer right there in the British capital.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so I think we're going to go on a short commercial break right now. When we come back, we're going to delve further into, I think we might want to talk about skill development, skills and education vis-a-vis the transformation that is taking place via the internet. So don't go away, join us again.
Hello, I'm Mojisola Alabi. I urge you to join us at the World Wide Web Day 2021 celebration. The World Wide Web has redefined the world from security to e-commerce, financial services, governance, and of course, entrepreneurship. This is why the Center for Cyber Awareness and Development, CECAD, and Cyber Africa Magazine and other partners brings you the World Wide Web Day celebration, a day to celebrate the web invention, its impact, and the role in the world of governance. Join us at the prestigious Radisson Blu Hotel GRA Ikeja, date 9th August 2021. For participation, log on to www.secad.org.ng and www.digivationnetwork.com. Better still, call. Let's hook up at the event. You will be proud. You did. Join us.
This is Digivation Network.
Hello, I am Adaze Okeaine, Digivision Radar.
I am Gideon Tobiloba, Sports Tech and the Top Fives.
And I am Princely Momodu. For news and views in the entertainment world,
every week we serve you with news, views, and information as they relate to business, technology, and innovation.
That's not all. It includes events, trends, reviews, and policy framework to drive the unfolding digital space.
Join us on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/Digivation Network, for all these and much more.
Don't fail to subscribe. There's plenty to win and lots of benefits to derive. www.youtube.com/Digivision Network. Digivision Network, your leading platform for business, technology, and innovation news. Subscribe and join us.
Hello, I am Bayero Agabi. Welcome you to this new ride, a digital ride that takes you into the lifestyle experience of innovation, tech impact, and new business frontiers. This is Digivision Network. On a weekly basis, we keep you well informed of developments and trends. Now the tech ecosystem is impacting politics, business, public and private enterprise management, plus how the new digital life can transform your business. I am Bayero Agabi. Join us.
All right, if you just joined us, you're still on to Digivation Network Plain Talk, and today we're looking at the impact of the internet in Nigeria's social and economic landscape, how the internet is transforming Nigeria in terms of both businesses, private sector, our everyday life in that respect. And we've been having various guests from all parts of the world, from London to the US to Nigeria, and we're going to be going further in the conversation. We still have Rock Adote in the studio here, a cybersecurity expert, and he would now be perhaps talk about education and skills, digital skills. In a world where the internet is now live, do we have the requisite skills, and where those skills are being developed, how are we utilizing them? Are we just perhaps sending them to the developed world, or are we utilizing them in Nigeria or Africa?
Okay, thank you for that opportunity. In response to your questions, we are currently having a lack of the specific skill sets that's going to make you relevant in modern businesses. In Nigeria, we are having that lack, and it's more even worsened because you have a lot of, because the technology ecosystem is actually developing in Nigeria, it creates more opportunities. Has forced businesses to resort to technology in order for them to remain operational efficient. But you don't have the people that have the competencies to be admitted into these roles. They are looking for greener pastures because the economy is getting worse. You understand? So you find a situation whereby almost all tech, I had the opportunity to even be in the services sector, you understand? So I don't superiors, all of them are in Canada, UK. You understand? This is the current situation we are having. So
why is that the case? Is it that the businesses here are not thriving as well to employ these people, or to retain them or something? Or
it's not limited to just the business alone. It's actually more of the value you acquire when you leave a job, become technology tools, you understand, is the same value you have that a Mark Zuckerberg had before he built Facebook. It's the same value that a CEO, a young CEO in Germany has, you understand. So it's not about, gone are those days where you're learning algebra and you're using a wrong curriculum here, and in abroad they're using a more advanced curriculum. If you're a full stack developer here, you'll be needed in Singapore. You'll be needed in Tunisia. You'll be needed in Canada. You understand? It's not a matter of, do these countries, do they even have the need to, are they suffering the same problem as you are suffering? Do they need such skill sets in their own economy to boost their own economy? Yes, they do. COVID-19 was a global pandemic.
So there's a demand.
Do you understand?
There's a demand.
UK now, I think they're entering another lockdown because of this
Delta
second wave of
variant,
COVID-19. You understand? Almost all businesses are resorting to remote operations. When you're talking to remote operations, the only enabler for you to remain in business is technology. You don't even have enough talent pool in those states. So what they are doing is they are looking for the smartest minds in Africa. Nigeria, we have the population. You have a teeming youth. You have them. I can tell you for free that Nigerians, I don't think there's any sector in America. It was in this issue when they were looking at the population of other countries, citizens, immigrants in America. That was during Donald Trump administration. It was on CNN that Nigeria constituted the largest population in almost all industries in America. You understand? We are in banking, we are in almost everywhere, and we are doing excellently well. Wow. You understand? So, yes, that problem exists for digital skills. And another area of it is where what government needs to do is to support these growth and incubator hubs. We have CC Hub, we have IG Hub in the East. You understand? Those people are doing excellently well, and their resources are lean. You understand? Imagine training, investing in the capacity building of over 3,000 to 5,000 youths, giving them all sorts of skills in cybersecurity, in application development, in digital media. You understand? And that's where another problem is being observed: rural-urban migration. So you see people in Aba. These people have sufficiently trained these people for them to be useful to global businesses, helping them to handle their managed services operations. Immediately they learn in these places, because the economy in that places is not supporting for them. They are not encouraged enough. They start moving to Lagos, or they move to Abuja, or they move to other, or they end up leaving the country. So the tech ecosystem in that place suffers. You understand? These are some of the challenges. Governments can come to create an enabling environment that will make our youth stay in Nigeria, you understand, and don't look for such greener pastures elsewhere.
Thank you very much. Enabling policies to make the youth stay and not look for greener pastures elsewhere. That seems to be a lot. Enabling policies. Perhaps you may want to talk about that enabling policy. What can you maybe perhaps list some of them for us? Do we need to, would I say, looking at even in the context of the ban, how many youths depend on Twitter to like make ends meet? When you ban Twitter in Nigeria, perhaps they may move to Ghana, where they still have a platform. So policies and that will make the youth thrive in the digital space.
One of the very fundamental policy is the access. So if you don't have the access to the internet, it's like still operating in the Stone Age.
Does that lead us to perhaps the cost of internet today?
It's even the infrastructure of carrying the bandwidth. So Nigeria has idle and redundant capacities in terms of internet. So you have main one cable, you have MTN cable. They've landed here, and it is not distributed. So you have, just like we have in power sector, power is being generated, but is not being distributed. So the same thing also happened in the internet capacity that we have. Nigeria has enough internet capacity, but it's not, there's no infrastructure to deliver it to the last mile, to deliver it to the rural areas. So it's not like road network. So you remember those days, several years growing up, you have cities built around where you have roads. And then where you have where you have parks, you have mega cities. The same way you will have urban development spring up. Once you create these internet highways, where at every state you have a major hub, and then into the rural areas, at least these guys can do some work. So if I learn how to use graphics, and you want me to stay in my village, which I could have comfortably sit down and do my work, but because I don't have the bandwidth, I don't have the infrastructure, I have to move to where I can get it. And from moving to there, I now realize that Canada has even a better one. So why should I stay here? Then I move on to Canada or move on to Europe. So that's really
okay. Yeah, to complement what you just mentioned is another unspoken challenge to internet as a tool for socio-economic development. It's cost. It's cost.
But some would argue that Nigeria has some of the cheapest internet rates.
No, that's not true. That's not accurate. Saying true is wrong. That's not entirely accurate. Okay. Why do I say so? Nigeria has one of the lowest GDP per capita income. The cost of implementing this infrastructure, fiber optics, high-speed internet, is expensive for the ISPs, for the online service provider, just like Main One. And the problem is that it's this same cost that you used to implement in America, you used to implement here. So you see an ISP implementing this in America, but because of the dispensable income of the people in this country, they can afford that internet. If you want 2G, your smartphone will give you 2G. If you want fiber optics, you may need to pay. Fiber optics is high broadband. I had the opportunity to engage with Daniel Chinagozi then in Abia State just recently. And he made mention of this. He said they consistently train youth and they manage businesses in Poland, in Europe, in several European states, from Nigeria, from the East. And the problem they always have is, these clients, they always complain of is, we cannot hear you well. Latency. We cannot see you. You will say hi. It will take 5 minutes for the hi. You hear the hi. You understand? These are pure internet issues. Then he said that because of this, the clients has to often request some people fly to Poland or some go to Lagos where there's reliable internet. Then you now drill down everything to bit. You see that is the cost of internet. Not just even, like he mentioned, which is very, very impertinent, is that there is not even fast internet in those regions. So you need to distribute this internet. Another thing is, can the people even afford it when you distribute it? You understand? MTN data, I don't know, sometimes there's a unconfirmed report that it is fast to finish. Some will say they cannot, if they pay for 10 gig now, 10,000 or 1,000, open Facebook, close Facebook, that's finished. You understand? They might be unconfirmed, but it still boils down to something, the cost. So this is where government intervention can come in.
This is where the regulators like the National Communications, but they're doing
God
a
bless
lot,
you.
though. I think
yes, they need to factor this one too very well and work with these ISPs.
Government even needs to declare a state of emergency in that sector.
In the cost.
Very, very important.
And to ensure, because that is really the future. So the longer we keep foot dragging and we play politics around it, we will be left behind. Every country of the world are already at action mode. Nigeria can't afford to be left behind. So now, one of the other things you need to realize again is that you are going to have global citizens. So that I am carrying a Nigerian passport does not mean I'm going to die a Nigerian. I can choose to go to another country and become a citizen there because they have the infrastructure that will make my life meaningful. So people want to migrate to where there's value.
Okay. I think this is really a robust conversation because there are lots of things to talk about, from regulation to the cost of internet and all of that. But we're going to begin to wind down right now. I'm going to talk about the future of work, skills. When the internet came, formerly we normally go to the post office. You mail your letter and then it takes about a week before you get it. But right now, with the push of a button, your message is in China. So what skills should people be getting themselves equipped with? And what are the industries, what are the sectors who are going to find displacement? Because some persons will have to lose their jobs and then new jobs will have to come on board and things like that. I think right now, when the pandemic hit, movement stopped. I'm sure there were some jobs also that were declared irrelevant, because nobody was moving, everybody was in their offices. So how should people get themselves prepared in terms of skills of the future?
Thank you for the opportunity. So in response to your question, if you one thing that is very, very evident now is that I don't think there's any industry that exists globally where technology does not play a role. When you come to photography, you come to automobile, almost everything now are being integrated with sensors that report real-time information, you understand, on analytics, just like what the co-founder of TechNext said, David said, you understand. We are moving into an era where certain jobs are going to be important for your business to be operational. And I give you a practical instance. If you're a modern business entity now, in financial services, you must have a business intelligence team, not even a staff. If you don't use your data, mine your data, use your data to produce meaningful reports that shows you how your business is performing, even for oil and gas now, most corporates now, they are putting sensors on their tank. They want to see how the tank is reducing, the power consumption. They want to know even the fuel level. What is IHS doing? IHS have automated almost all the mass operations in the entire Nigeria. You understand? Gone are those days where all of a sudden a BTS will just shut down. Snake is inside. Or people has gone to thief the generator and nobody can make call in that village. You understand? Now you have smart sensors in each of these stores that are reporting to you in real time from their Lagos office, from their Abuja office. Diesel is going low. The inverter is down. Let the field service engineer. Do you understand? This is affecting socioeconomic development, because if that mast is down, people can't make calls. People can't use your USSD to transfer in the village. Yeah. People cannot access internet. People cannot even, just like what our guest from Abuja said, life is zero. It's not even a matter of impact, it's survival now. You can't even transfer to buy food to eat. Your mobile money agent will not work.
There are several instances where your app does not work and your US doesn't work, you are grounded.
It is between you and your God. You understand? If COVID-19 now come again, God forbid, we are not praying for this variant because I don't understand what is going on with this variant. If nobody can move, if you move police, if you move the whole, so internet is an integral part of our life. You understand? And back to in response to your question, a financial service team is, and even you must have your business intelligence team. Why do you need your business intelligence team? Because you're generating data. You want to know how much transactions, how many people are visiting your website. You want to know from which location are they visiting more. So you know that is that location you focus your advertisement on. You focus your marketing strategy on. Do you understand? You need those insights. So now, back in response to your question, what kind of role do we need? We need people to focus on business intelligence. We need data analysts. Do you understand? We need IoT experts. We need big data experts. We need people that can go to your database and create queries to create fantastic reports that give you intelligence on how you can be operationally efficient.
Be a software developer before you can thrive. It's not just about software development alone.
Software developer is another place where we are getting to an era, a no-code era. What do I mean by a no-code era? The introduction to artificial intelligence and machine learning in software development is creating something the world has never ever seen. You will have programs that drag and drop. You will build an app that is automating your process.
It's coding for you.
It's already coding for you. You have Figma, you have interfaces, you don't need to go and learn that hard C# or Fortran Java. You spend 6 months in class, NIT, and come back, you forgot. No, but this is where the world is going to. You understand? When you look at what is happening in customer service, the future of customer service is now almost going shattering away because UBA has launched UBA Leo. Once you chat with this guy, you just go, you think you're chatting to the human being. You say hello, it asks you good day, it is afternoon, how are you doing? Have you taken coffee today? Please type in your account number. You type in your account number, you say that, okay, what do you want me to do? You want to send money? You're interacting. This is something that on a normal day, you have 200 people wearing microphones. Hello. One bot is handling over 10,000 customers. It's your customer service. It's your go-to person. I want to block my account. Thank you. Please, we've sent an authentication pin to your phone. Type that pin to me now. It is a computer talking to you. It's artificial intelligence. It's not human being. It has taken the job of over 200 people. So what am I telling you? These are the evolution we are seeing. In the next 5 years, you wouldn't believe the kind of unmatched technology you see in this era. Nigeria is not an exception. It's not. We're already seeing it. Our banks are already scaling up. CBN and NIDA is already scaling up. So these are some of the places that we need the digital literacy, you understand? And more skills, more youth to delve into these skills. Our problem is also Canada.
Canada is not our problem.
It seems they're just waiting for you to just let them invest in you. They'll just take you and go to UK.
All right. My last question for you, Rock, is about cyber responsibility, online responsibility. Perhaps there are tips you need to put out, you need to share how to be safe online. Don't do these things you must not do online. Because nowadays, I think we were talking some years ago, you're doing your birthday online, you're doing your marriage online. Everything is, you're just pushing it there online, forgetting that your life can be plotted from your online presence. So what are the things we shouldn't do online?
The first thing for me to, because this is where almost all my activity is centered around, is that first, do not put too much information about yourself online or the internet. Just like he rightly mentioned, the internet does not forget, it keeps your footprint. I was having a discussion with some of my senior friends the other day, and they just brought out one picture of an article I wrote in Tech News where Peter Ugo is. And I saw myself, I was like, is this me? This was over 10 years. You understand? The internet never forgets. And one thing the youth needs to reckon with is that, look at what is happening to Twitter. Nobody will ever envisage that the government will ban Twitter. It looks like the most insignificant least thing. But one fake news on Twitter can cause sectoral conflict in JOS. One just Photoshop picture can cause sectoral conflict in JOS. A lot of regulation. I don't want to delve into those discussion. If not, it's a discussion for another day. But why am I saying this? Don't put too much information on yourself on the internet. Another thing is that these platforms are not your friend. they are not your friend entirely. And why do I say so? Yes, you can use it to promote your business, to make more money, to advertise, get more leads, like Facebook is a tool for geospatial intelligence. But little do we know that Cambridge Analytica was working with Facebook to discredit another political opponent in Nigeria election. Do you understand? It was on global news. You understand? They were creating ads to discredit another presidential opponent to favor another one. But in their policy, they say we don't share your ad.
All these are issues around privacy.
Facebook will ask you, what's your mother's name? Where did your mother work? What is your last school? What is your... What are you doing with this? I don't understand.
And then
you
they
understand? Another thing is in government information security. If you're occupying sensitive government positions, don't put too much information about you on LinkedIn. You just make yourself a prime target for spear phishing, for targeted attacks. You understand? We are seeing what Russians are. We are seeing what Russians, Chinese are doing to United States, and what United States too are doing to them. I want you understand. We are seeing all what is going on. When you are occupying a sensitive position, you're a prime target. Not just that. Even when you're a contractor to that organization, you're a prime target. When we go to vendor intelligence, vendor cybersecurity, that's a total different ball game. You understand? But don't put too much information about yourself on social media. Another thing is handle your digital cards. Like, guard them with your life. You understand? Your payment cards, your mobile devices, guard them with your life. You understand? We've had proof of concept where we've seen most of all these apps. If you look at the amount of data, don't even install third-party apps that you don't need on your phone. Revoke permissions from these apps. There's some apps you see on Play Store. They have access to your contacts. They have access to your SMS. There's this app. I don't want to call the name because it's a business entity app. But once you install it, it just takes your messages. It asks you for your message access. You allow. It takes your messages. It sends to their server, and they plot how you spend. They will tell you they're giving you advice so you will not spend less, but they are holding your message. That means if even an OTP or a sensitive PIN or a password, or now that your phone is your primary tool for authentication of almost all your online presence, those people will see it and that third party will see it. Can we beat our chest and say that they are compliant with cybersecurity standards in that their office? We don't even know who they are.
Yeah.
We don't even know who they are. Now imagine a government staff or a prime person in Nigerian government using this app. We're having decisions. Another person is reading it.
Somebody's watching it in China.
China has done it to us in AUs in Addis Ababa when we are having meetings.
They're
listening to all the conversation. So when it comes to technology, regulation is important. Doing Stephen's revelation is important. Like what David said, conversations need to go in between the regulators and the experts in this field, you understand, so we can create better decisions for the interest of Nigeria. On digital literacy, is very important you move into relevant skills that are modern, you understand, in technology. And in cybersecurity, another thing I've mentioned on government, I've mentioned on private individuals, for corporations, for financial institutions, please localize your cybersecurity tips. Don't put everything in English, you understand. The growth rates, if you want more of which they have more, almost all banks have customers in northern Nigeria. They have customers in Uyo, they have customers in Yoruba, in Ondo. Put it in their language, speak it to them. Let's invest in advising them on how not to use their devices so they will not get exposed. You understand? Because this thing is actually affecting the technology acceptance. So at the end of the day, people will say, no, more fair ATM card, more fair mobile banking, more fair. So your entire investment in financial inclusion is even defeated. You understand?
Because they see that a white man's thing.
Yes, and they'll be exposed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rock Adut, a cybersecurity expert and consultant. I'm going to appreciate you especially. But lastly, Sam, we'll talk about skills. People who don't have these skills, what should they do? Because we now see it's of the future. It's what we need to become relevant. How do I equip myself?
So it's important that investment is made in education, because what you don't know, you don't know. So it's either they invest in acquiring the education or they have to find. So this is where shared services also will be an industry that will.
All right, Mr. Sam, yes. I think David is about to leave. He wants to share something quickly before he goes. So David, are you ready for us? David of Tech Next NG, are you ready for us before you go? You can unmute and also open up your camera.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, I was just applauding what Rock said as regards the security threats that the internet poses for a lot of people. Across the divide, we have a very vibrant set of young people that feel that we should not regulate the space. But if you look at it from the expert perspective that Rock has shared, it is important that we regulate the space. There is no reasonable country in the world that allows free access to its citizens. Um, I mean, very recently, some countries in Europe fined Google even for using news content that they were not given permission by the platforms. Same thing happened in Australia. So just in Nigeria, we all go on Facebook, Google, and the other platforms, and we put our news content, and those people will syndicate, those platforms will syndicate the news content, and they are getting a lot of activity. They are using it for ads and a couple of things. But the news platforms are not paid for those content. And Australia is beginning to fight back, and another country in Europe, I think France. The truth is, if we allow this platform unfettered access to our people, they are going to exploit them. Their businesses and their objective is to make money. They're going to exploit their data. They're going to exploit everything about them. WhatsApp gets some of our conversations are not actually encrypted on WhatsApp. So we as a country, beyond these companies self-regulating themselves, we need to actually create specific regulations that are attuned to our culture, like Rock has said. Because in the end, we can't be talking about adoption, digital adoption, when people are scared about the effect of their adoption on their security. I know people who don't use ATM. I know people who don't use CSSD because they've had very negative experiences about their monies. And not very many people know how to cover a lot of things. So there is that need for us to regulate, but there is also that very urgent need for us to engage. So engage people like Rock who have a very good understanding of how cybersecurity works, but also engage people who use these platforms and the people on the ground, not just the foot soldiers like the agents who take the banking transaction to people, for instance, but the people on the ground. How best do we communicate with them? That something is adopted in London does not mean it's going to be adopted in the state. So you need to find out what works for the people. What is the best form of financial services for people who are market users and who have to transact on cash from on a day-to-day basis, people who do market contributions and all that. So technology is international, but it's also very local. If you go to India, the way they interact with technology is different from China because these people have found a way of localizing technology to themselves. So we may go far, we may raise from Europe, we may have degrees from Harvard, but there is a need for our innovators as well to go to the rural spaces and really think about how will these innovations at the ordinary people on the street. And after this has been done, then we can now begin to come up with policies that would restrict how these foreign platforms engage with our own citizens in a way that is going to be profitable for them. I feel if we do this, a lot of people will feel free to adopt this technology platforms for their day-to-day transactions. And that way, government will also be able to come in to give penalties if these platforms fail, and those penalties will also be some revenue generating platforms for them in the future use. So indeed, we need to regulate, but it has to come with knowledge, and knowledge comes with interaction with the people who are experts.
Yeah, thank you so much for this. For this balanced perspective. We need to regulate. We also need to have this conversation, to this dialogue that ensures that we don't just slam the hammer against people who are thriving via the internet. So we're going to come back to Sam right now as we begin to round off skills. What do people who do not have these skills, what do we need to do to ensure that our people are skilled in line with the internet opportunities that are available?
Okay, thank you. Like I mentioned, education is very critical for every business owner. First and foremost, the business models have changed. So before now, you will not have a title holder like digital marketing manager. Right now, if you don't have a digital marketing manager, you are losing a lot because your buyers have shifted elsewhere and you are still looking at the analog method. So there are a number of roles that needs to be looked at again. So business models really needs to be looked at and upgraded to meet the technology trends that are obtainable now. And also, every business owner also needs to have right education, because if you don't know, you don't know. And because you are the one driving the entire enterprise, you need to know where the vision is yours, and you need to be able to now update it to the 21st century and see how the various aspects of the business need to be running. And then you take ownership and then move on.
All right, Sam, thank you very much for that insight. Thank you very much. And I think this is where we'll be drawing the curtain today on the Digivation Network Plain Talk. It's been a wonderful, wonderful conversation from all of our guests here in the studio, and of course our guests joining us virtually. They shared perspective on how we need to give more opportunities to our people in terms of skills. They shared perspective on how we need to regulate the space. Yes, it's good, but we need to have some control. And they talked about how also the internet is not just a means of doing business or making an impact, but also a means of survival. Because if you are not a part of this digital, would I say, wave, you are cut off from the global economy, you're cut off from opportunities, and the case just goes on and on. So we appreciate all of those who played a key part in making this possible. We appreciate all of our partners, the Nigerian Communications Commission, and of course, first of all, the Federal Ministry of Digital Economy. We appreciate them. We appreciate the National Communications Commission. We appreciate the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC. We appreciate the National Information Technology Development Agency, NIDA. We appreciate also Digital Bridge Institute, Galaxy Backbone, and all of our partners that have partnered with us to ensure that we pass this message across, ensuring that we have this robust conversation. All right, you can follow Digivation Network on all of our social platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube, where we also shout out nice videos every now and then that informs all of our audiences. And of course, keep utilizing the internet, keep making use of the internet, and ensuring that you thrive in terms of your businesses and in terms of your life too. All right, it's been a great time talking with you, Sam. I appreciate you. It's been a great time.
Nice having this conversation.
Thanks for coming to the studio. Nice
Thank
to meet
you.
Okay, and of course,
Thank you.
Rock, the Rock. I appreciate your time coming here today. So until next time, we'll have another Digivation Plain Talk. And Friday or two are saying bye for now.
I'm here to talk to you about the internet or the world has redefined the world from security to commerce, financial services, governance, and entrepreneurship. The internet is now a major drive. This is why the Center of Cyber Awareness and Development and Cyber Africa Magazine and partners brings you the World Internet Day, a day to celebrate the world innovation, its impact and role in world governance. Join us at the prestigious Review date. For participation, log on to www.CECAD.org.ng and www.digivationnetwork.com. Better still, call World Wide Web Day, a celebration of the evolution of internet. Join us.
Hello, I'm Mojisola Alabi. I urge you to join us at the World Wide Web Day 2021 celebration. The World Wide Web has redefined the world from security to e-commerce, financial services, governance, and of course, entrepreneurship. This is why the Center for Cyber Awareness and Development, CECAD, and Cyber Africa Magazine and other partners brings you the World Wide Web Day celebration, a day to celebrate the web invention, its impact, and the role in the world of governance. Join us at the prestigious Radisson Blue Hotel, GRA Ikeja. Date, 9th August 2021. For participation, log on to www.secad.org.ng and www.digivationnetwork.com. Better still, call. Let's hook up at the event. You will be proud you did. Join us.
This is Digivation Network.
Hello, I am Adaze Okiaine, Digivision Radar.
I am Gideon Tobiloba, Sports Tech and the Top Fives.
And I am Princely Momodu. For news and views in the entertainment world,
every week we serve you with news, views, and information as they relate to business, technology, and innovation.
That's not all. It includes events, trends, reviews, and policy framework to drive the unfolding digital space.
Join us on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/Digivision Network, for all these and much more.
Don't fail to subscribe. There's plenty to win and lots of benefits to derive. www.youtube.com/Digivision Network. Digivision Network, your leading platform for business, technology, and innovation news. Subscribe and join us.